Good morning, good day, good afternoon. My name is Alex Maros and welcome to another video tutorial which will improve your 3D and graphic design skills. During this video tutorial, you will learn how to create this store in 3D Max Studio with the little steps to follow, and it's pretty simple tutorial. This tutorial is oriented for the beginner level and anybody can do this. Before we will go ahead and jump into Autodesk 3ds Max Studio software and we will create this store, let me go ahead and I'll let you know how I got this idea and why I got this idea to create this store. Well, basically I was on my eBay channel and selling some games. I have 100 games to sell. It's all new games like Crysis 3, Bioshock Infinite, and what else, Far Cry 3 and etc. And all the new games I'm selling half price over the eBay, and it's I have 100 games to sell and I have like Steam codes and etc. If you folks interested, go ahead and check me out. I'm a Tech Dealer 82. Here's my address over there, you can see. But anyways, I have like avatar like this, my profile image like this, and I decided, look, I'm a graphic designer and I just finished a book about the Donald Trump when he said think like a billionaire, when he said that if you're selling a car and you didn't wash your car, you're a complete loser, because if you will wash your car you will get another $1,000 and you will invest about $100 into it to completely wash it, detailed, and etc. And I think, yeah, this idea just struck me, and I'm like, look, how come I have this little, like this guy right here, this profile image? If I know the Photoshop, I know the 3ds Max Studio and a bunch of other stuff. I'm a professional graphic designer, doing it already for 8 years and making money even from it. Like, I have a bunch of customers and etc. And I decided to go ahead and put my brain to it and stop being lazy and do something about it. So I have bunch of positive feedbacks now, happy customers, but just because your profile image, it will even bring me more customers. That's what I decided after listening to Jim Rohn book, To a Better Life. By the way, if you're interested to read a nice book or listen to a nice book, go ahead and try to Jim Rohn, this guy right here. It's a beautiful guy, and I mean tutor and basically innovator and motivator and coach, as well as mentor. He will teach you a lot. This is kind of people I'm listening and learning from right now: Donald Trump, Jim Rohn, and etc. Bunch of people, Carnegie and etc. But anyways, I decided to go ahead and create my own profile, and here we go. I sit down and I'm like, I want to go something around the store, and then I decided, well, I'm going to model star in 3ds Max Studio instead of Photoshop, because it's going to be easier, faster, and I can apply the light the way I want it, and etc. And then I'm going to bring to the Photoshop and tweak it a little bit. But the main idea is going to be done in 3ds Max Studio, because I can go for 2 rabbits. I can kill 2 rabbits. I can design my own profile image, plus I can design some 3D star images for sale later on at the photography stocks. It's a great idea. It's one of the ideas for you. You can do it as well. So I'm not going to waste so much time. I'm going to basically kill 2 rabbits. And here we go. I created this star right here. And let me go ahead and show you how to do it. Very simple. It's not going to be too hard in 3ds Max Studio with a few steps. I'm assuming that you're downloading Autodesk 3ds Max Studio. Today I'm using 2010 version, but keep in mind this tutorial will be capable with 3ds Max 5.0, which was introduced in 2004, 2003, 5.5, 6, 7, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. And I'm going to use the basic tools that were in that software in 3ds Max Studio from since 2002, as I remember, as I first time jump into this software. And 3ds Max and it could be design from the autodesk.com website. They having free trial. Go ahead and Google for it for 30 days. You can use it. For students, you can get the student discount and get it very cheap as well. Also keep in mind that I have more video tutorials on 3ds Max Studio for the beginners. It's going to be available, and it's already available. One of them is fantastic video tutorial for the beginner who is looking to get LexVAT into enhance VAT into the 3ds Max Studio and into 3D world, to modeling, 3D modeling, 3D animation and modeling and texturing. It's going to be modeling a computer fan. Beautiful, fantastic tutorial when I'm going to explain step by step and show you a lot of ideas and methods, practice and theories, as well as practice in real life in 3ds Max Studio. But anyways, today we're going to go ahead and create a store, and I'm assuming you're total beginner. Go ahead and run the Autodesk 3ds Max. It could be as again 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, even the old one when it wasn't owned by Autodesk, when it was just the district, and before Autodesk bought that company, like 3ds Max 5.0, 5.5, 6.0, 7.0. Go ahead and install it and run it. Okay, you open the application. Now let's go ahead and get going. You're going to see the 4 different views right here. Okay, and it's going to be top view, front view, left view, and perspective view. Okay, you can switch into one view if you want by pressing this icon right here, and it's saying the maximize viewport toggle. Click on it, and whatever view is selected going to bring into one big view. So you're not going to see all those 3 views and not going to be confused. If you're gonna press on it again, it's a toggle button right here, this icon right here, maximize viewport. You're going to get back to the 4 viewports. I suggest you should go ahead and use 4 viewports. When you're going to get your feet wet, then you can go ahead and practice with more buttons. 3ds Max Studio has thousands of features, but I'm going to discuss with you some classic and original features, and after you will learn and get familiar with those features, you can jump farther. Keep in mind that my voice can be a little bit squeezy, folks, but this is just because I lost my voice during recording some other video tutorials 2 days ago, and then my voice is getting back, so forgive me for that. Okay, so creating a store. First of all, I would like to go ahead and click on this icon right here, new scene, or click on this icon right here, new, and you're going to start with the new scene. The next step, what I would like you to do, go ahead and click on this button right here, which is create. Click on it. It's going to bring you this icons right here. Go ahead and go to shapes on the second icon right here, as I do. Click on it, and over here go ahead and select splines. Okay, so basically we're going to discuss today splines modeling. Keep in mind that I also have the Polygon modeling for the beginners, and go ahead and check it out. It's going to be modeling computer fan. Beautiful tutorial. You can find this tutorial over the 3ds Max, over the morosacademy.com, or over the Moros Academy YouTube channel, or over my other channels by Alex Morose. Okay, here we go. Splines. Select the splines, and you need to go and select the star. Click on it, and now you, go ahead and bring it to the top view, like so. And then top view in the center, click left mouse of your button, and it will go ahead and start creating the star. You need to hold your button and basically get to the size like this and release the button. Then when you release the button, it's going to create something like a circle or a weird shape. It means that you can move your mouse and it will basically create the star. Go ahead, create corners like this. You're going to be fine like that, and click on your mouse button again. Okay, you click on your mouse button, and we have 6 corner star. Keep in mind, if you're getting lost, go ahead and rewind the tutorial and watch it again, or you can ask me a question. I will try to answer you in 24 hours. 6 corner star, we want to go ahead and make 5 corner star. So how to do so? Right here, you need to go and click on modify, and under the modify you will see star 0.1, and click on star 0.1 and just delete 0.1. Let's keep it star, let's keep it simple. This is the name. It's great. Keep a great habit, name your objects in the 3D scene and 3ds Max, so you're not going to get lost when you're going to have multiple objects. It's a great habit to have, to keep it organized. Okay, right here as the points, it's a star with the 6 points or 6 corners. Right here you can go ahead and say 5 instead of 6, so select 6 and type 5, or you can use this increment and this button right here, create 5 corners. So we have 5 corners now. Nice star. Next thing what I want you to do, go ahead and click on this modifier list. Those modifiers has different functions, and it's a lot of them, almost 100, and we're not going to discuss all of them today. We're just going to get familiar with one. If you're looking to get familiar with more than one, I suggest you to go ahead and watch my tutorial, other tutorials, and one of them is going to be creating modeling computer fan in 3ds Max Studio. It's by Alex Morose. It's a great tutorial by Morose Academy. Okay, right here you want to find the extrude right here. If you're watching this tutorial, I suggest you to watch this tutorial in 720p or 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080. Just in your YouTube player, just go ahead and select 1080p or 720p. Okay, so you're going to see the fonts as sharp as it is. Click extrude, just click on it, and you will see the star will just fill up with some polygon. This is a polygon with some shape. It's going to actually create the shape with some color, and it made up of some polygons. But more about polygons I'm going to explain you later on during this video tutorial in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and over here on amount, how we like to extrude. Let's go ahead and type 5, click enter. As you can see, it's extruded, generated some more geometry in 3D space in our perspective view. This is, by the way, perspective view, and you can rotate this view and have a look. And to rotate this view, I suggest you, when you're trying to rotate your object in 3D space in 3ds Max Studio, I suggest you to use the perspective view. Do not rotate in this top, front, or left views. So right click with your mouse over here on perspective view window, and it's going to be selected in a yellow like so. Next step, you want to go and select this icon right here, which is going to say orbit. Just this icon right here, click on it, left mouse of your button, and now you can rotate and see how the object look like. This is where you're rotating if you would like to check your object in 3D space. You can also rotate in the front view, top view, and left view, but as again, I'm not suggesting you to do so. Let me go ahead and show you. Front view, just click this right button, click on any of those view. It's going to be selected and you can operate in this view. Go ahead and click on this orbit tool as again, and you can rotate it. But now you can see it's getting to those funny looking things and saying, instead of front view, it's saying the orthographic view. And it's kind of hard now if you would like to see the front view, and this is not what you want to do, because you can use your perspective and rotate where you want it. But those other views is for your kind of keep your eye on your model or your object. So how to bring it back if you accidentally just rotate it? Don't get lost, don't get afraid. You can go ahead and click on that orthographic, click on it and select the front view. Okay, and you get it back. Click on this perspective view, right mouse of your button, so it's gonna get selected. Now we can operate here. So the next thing what you want to do, you want to unextrude on this modifier right here, click right button and click collapse to. Click on the collapse to, and it's going to tell you blah blah blah, this funky message. You need to select yes. It's going to editable mesh, convert it to the editable mesh. Right click on the editable mesh. on it, it's going to say now editable poly. So now we can work with some elements, 3D elements. Like, let me go ahead and show you what kind of elements we're going to work, because this tutorial is most likely for the beginner, and I'm going to explain you some 3D elements that when you're modeling, you're working with these elements in your 3ds Max Studio. There is 5 different elements: element, polygon, border, edges, and vertex or vertices. So vertex is of a single dot in 3D space, and vertices, it's a multiple dots in 3D space. Let me go ahead and introduce you. By selecting this vertex, you can see right here there is blue. In those views you can zoom in, zoom out with your third mouse button in the middle between left and right, or if you don't have it, let's say if you're in mouse that doesn't have that, or on your laptop, you can use the zoom tool right here. Click on it and you can zoom in, zoom out. Okay, see those blue dots? You can select it, and let me zoom in right here. Blue dots, it's a vertex. Multiple dots like those two right now, 2 selected in red, vertices. So this is the mode where you can manipulate your object, your 3D model, in this vertex mode, which is manipulating a single vertex or multiple vertices. There is some other in 3D, some other manipulation and features how to basically shape up your geometry in 3ds Max Studio, which is edges. Click on this icon right here, and the edges is going to be this lines in your 3D geometry on the object. Okay, you can work with one edge or multiple edges. You can move them and etc. There is a borders as well. Let me go ahead and show you what is the borders. Borders is not going to be visible on this model yet. There is polygons, the important piece. Let me go ahead and introduce you and show you what is polygon. Polygon can be like a star, like a cube, like a square, like a triangle. This is a polygons. Okay, and right now in the perspective you can see I selected just a top polygon on this object or on this model, but there is the side polygons as well, and etc. And you can watch and see what kind of polygons you selected on your different views as well. Let's say if I'm selected this, I selected this over here. Also, when you're selecting vertices or polygons or edges, you want to make sure that you're not at the move tool right here, not at the select and move tool, but at the select object tool. So this is selected like so. So you cannot move those polygons and hurt the geometry, accidentally hurt the geometry of your 3D object or 3D model. Okay, so this is the basics. If you using the old version, the 3ds Max like 5.0, if you don't have those icons right here, you can click on this plus button and you have the same deal over here or over here as the icons, easy to access. Okay, how to deselect this polygon? Just click somewhere on an empty space and it's going to deselect everything what is selected. Okay, here we go folks. Let's go ahead and modify this star, make it beautiful and etc. So let me go ahead and show you first how to work with materials. By pressing M button on your keyboard, right now you can see our star in pink and we don't want it in pink. But before we're going to jump into materials, which is texturing your 3D model, let me show you how to render actually your model in 3ds Max and show it by the default that pink color, but show it how it's look like. Select the perspective view, then go ahead and click on this tab, rendering, click on it, and this render icon right here, click render. As you can see, the shortkeys for it, Shift Q, or it could be F9 in other versions of the 3ds Max. It depends what kind of profile you're using. You can basically set it to the keys that you want it. Click on render and you can see our star right here as the way it's in a perspective view because perspective view was selected. Okay, we can rotate our star the way we want it and click rendering just going to show us how the way it's going to look like, the final thing. And it's going to be multiple colors. If there is any shadows, it's going to generate the shadows. It's going to be with the shadows, shadings, like and etc. Let me go ahead and so you just learned how to render. Let me go ahead and show you how to change this pink color to the color that we want, or to the material that we want. Go ahead and click M button on your keyboard, Monica, M button, and it's going to bring you to the material editor right here. Okay, and if you, by pressing M button, if you don't see this material editor, you can go ahead and click on the tools, and under the tools, let me have a look. Under the tools, it should be material editor. Just let's say if the button didn't work out for some folks, because this tutorial is going to be dedicated to the multiple series of the, right here under the rendering, there's material editor. Click on this, and you're going to bring the material editor under the rendering. Okay, or you can press just the M button on your keyboard, Monica. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and click on this first circle, and it's the first material. Let's name it 1, and click on it, enter. And it's a great habit when you're going to name your material, so you're going to know what it's all about. Let me just go ahead and make it a general material. So for general shape, name it general material. Okay, and let's go ahead and click select the star. So make sure you're at the select object, and make sure that you're not selected polygon or element or edges or vertices. Click on it, double click on it, it's going to unselect it. Then click on your model. It's going to select your model. Make sure your model is selected, or 3D object is selected. Then go ahead and click on our general material, and click on this icon right here, assign material to selection. Click on it, and it's going to assign this gray material to selection. And now if we'll go ahead and click render, it's going to create color. So this could be texture, could be material with some shadings and etc. We'll go ahead and get to it in a second. Alright, how to go ahead and bring the metal texture to it, metal material. The first thing what I want you to do, I would like to see that we have some different type of materials that we can apply with the different type of physics and geometry, the way it's going to be rendered on a geometry in a 3D world of the 3ds Max. By pressing on the standard button, it's going to bring you all those different type of materials that we're using, and we're using the standard, this one. You can use all of those materials, but I'm not suggesting you. It's a default materials for the default render. Let's go ahead and use some advanced one. Doesn't require some knowledge, too much knowledge to use it actually. It's basically even simplified the materials for you. And let me go ahead and show you what I meant. By clicking rendering, go to render setup, bring this window and scroll down all the way down and click assign renderer. Found this option somewhere over here at the bottom, and right here it's saying the production, it's saying the skyline renderer, and means that it's not advanced render and doesn't apply it applies actually. You can make advanced complex materials, but it requires so much knowledge to do so. And if you're looking to get easier materials without the crazy knowledge on the materials in 3ds Max Studio, which could be another topic, and we could talk about it hours and hours and create multiple tutorials. But if you're looking to create the basic ones and easy ones, you want to click on this button right here and under the production and select. skyline or view file render, you want to select mental ray render, and this is the advanced render that's going to basically simplify our work. Now if you will go ahead and click standard button, you will see we have all the different materials, and it even has the materials like ceramic, metal, plastic, etc., and it's simplifying for us, so we don't have to make the metal material from the standard material, which requires a lot of knowledge, and I'm not going to discuss in this video tutorial. But we can select some pre-built profiles now, and it will render for us, and it's going to be much easier. And also it will render using complex algorithms, which will require less time to render some crazy effects on your materials. Okay, so what I want to do for you, click on Arc and Design. This option available since 3ds Max 6.0, then 7.0, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Click over here, double click on it with your left mouse button, and it's going to bring you to some window over here. We're not going to talk about those settings in this video tutorial because it's going to be a video tutorial for the beginners, but we're going to get our metal gold texture done, and I will show you how to do so. Click on select the template, and let's go ahead and select the template, select the copper. As you can see right here, our texture is changed to a nice gold color. Okay, and it's applied to it automatically. If it's not, go ahead and click right here, assign material to selection. Just click on it and it will assign material to selection. Let's go ahead and click rendering, and you can use the short keys, but I don't want to use the short keys because this is complete video tutorial for the beginners. Click render, and you can see it's kind of dark and it doesn't look like a gold, because this has some shiny parts on it and ours doesn't. Why it doesn't? Because right now it doesn't have no light direction by the default. We want to bring our light to the scene. So let's go ahead and click over here in perspective, right mouse of your button, and then click somewhere, and then with the third mouse button, zoom out, zoom in, or with this tool right here, zoom out, zoom in, about like so. Go ahead and click create on this create icon, then go to the third icon, lights, click on this, and the modifier stack, click on photometric and select standard. Okay, MR area omni, it means that mental ray area omni light. Click on it and click somewhere over here on the scene. You can see we created the light. Okay, now let's go ahead and click over here, select the move tool right here, and go to our front view. Right click mouse button on it, and it's selected with the yellow, so we can operate in this view. And let's go ahead and move it to the top by the Y axis, by the click on this green arrow and move it to the top. Okay, let's zoom out with our third mouse button and move it higher. Okay, now let's go ahead and click on perspective view with third mouse button and go ahead and click rendering and select render, and let's have a look. Now you can see we have some shiny part and dark part, so it's getting better now. We can basically see our object, okay, and it's getting that shiny parts, but we're not there yet. As you can see, this object right here is a circle, and it's has better geometry for applying those shiny effect to the as a material to our object. And our object is not circle, our object is basically squared one, which is star. Harder to apply the material such as metal, because the square object doesn't reflect the metal easy as circle materials or kinda rounded shape material, objects. If we will go ahead and select the square, as you can see, it doesn't look like too much reflection on it, too much shiny on it. You can select different type of the materials for you to get and have a look how it's going to look like. Let's go ahead and do so. Our object is squared, so we're going to work with the square type of material. Okay, the next thing what I want you to do, as our light is selected, you can go ahead and here in our front view on our star, or click back to the light with left mouse button. You can select it. Okay, let's go ahead and click on modify tab right here, and it's going to say MR area omni, which is mental ray area omni for our mental ray renderer that we select previously a couple minutes ago. And here, if you will go ahead and click intensity color attenuation, click on it, you can multiply the way how light will approach to the object. More light or less light. Let's go ahead and put 3. Click enter, and also you can click on the color, what kind of color of the light will be. You can see, we can see our star better now, and it's light up better. Let's go ahead and render it. Click on perspective view, right mouse button, and then go to rendering. And if your keyboard, mouse doesn't have right button, you can go ahead and click left mouse button, but make sure there is no object that you're clicking. It's empty space, and it will do just the same feature, which you will select the view. Let's go rendering and click render. You can see it visible better now, and we have some options for the like a shiny one and darker one. Nice, we're getting better to the metal. Let's go ahead and zoom in, and with our third mouse button, or with this tool right here, zoom tool icon right here with my mouse cursor, you can zoom in, zoom out. Let's go ahead and zoom in like so, and click rendering and render. Let's have a look how. See, we don't see that kind of geometry right here. Why? Because our light is in the top, kind of on the top, and in that direction that we don't see it. Let's go ahead and switch it over here to bring our light here, and let's do it again. I used the top view, and I use those arrows to move the light. Make sure your select and move tool is selected, so you can move the objects. And then right mouse button click, or left mouse button click somewhere in a space, 3D space, select the perspective view, go rendering, render, and now we're going to see some geometry here. See that? Alright, but you will tell me that it doesn't have the too much shiny and doesn't look realistically like metal texture. Yes, I agree with you. Let's go ahead and bring some kind of rounding corners to the metal, not too so squared, and some more details. The metal textures in 3ds Max Studio, let's go ahead and press M button. Under the arc and design, they just love to have squared, or not squared, but rounded shapes like a circle and etc. They hate for the metal textures to have some square objects or models, because it's kind of hard to calculate the way it's light approached. There is some ways to go around, but let me go ahead and show you the easiest way for the beginners. We want to basically make our shape a little bit like a round, with rounded corners and etc. Like those angle going to be rounded, those edges rounded. How to do so? This is where we're going to first time work with the edges, and in this video tutorial, let's go ahead and select the star, click on it somewhere in any of your views. The next thing what you want to do, make sure that select and move tool is not selected, otherwise you will be moving the star object or some elements of that, like vertices, polygons, and etc. that we don't want. We don't want to modify yet the geometry by moving it. So you want to go ahead and click on this icon right here, select object, and now you cannot move the star, but you can select it or deselect it. You can basically hold your mouse and you can select multiple objects if we're going to have multiple objects, but we don't want to select multiple objects. Okay, here, go ahead and click the edge icon right here, and in our top view, make sure you see a star like this. If not, with our zoom tool, use zoom tool, you can bring it to the view like so. The next step what I want you to do, make sure is again select object icon is selected. You want to hold your mouse button, click your mouse button, left mouse button, and hold it. and select all the, you can see all the edges selected. Okay, but we don't want to select the edges right here, which is on the side. Let me show you in our perspective view. We don't want to select like those type of edges right here. Like, see this edge, we don't want it to get selected. We don't want to select this edge. We don't want to select this edge. We just want to select this edge all the way around the star, and we want to make it like a round shaped edge, not so much squared. So our metal will be applied better and material, and it will have some reflection and some shiny part to it. So how to do so? Let's go ahead and click Alt button on your keyboard, and then click left mouse button, and in the middle, see that minus by my mouse cursor means that deselect some edges, because we're at the edges mode right now that we don't want. So click, scroll it till you're going to select all of them. Make sure you're in the middle, so top edges is not selected and button is not selected, but everything what is the vertical is selected. See that? Horizontal are not selected, and release it, and you can see they got in white instead of red now. And now those edges right here, if you're gonna see in perspective, is not selected, and over here as well they become white, mean that they deselected and everything what is in red selected. Great. Now what we want to do, we want to click on this modifier right here, edit edges modifier, which says chamfer. Click on the settings and see how in perspective view, even at the left and top doesn't show too much, but left is showing. But perspective view, you want to see how the model changing, because you can see it becoming shiny here and it's becoming rounding like this. This is what we want, and you can apply the chamfer. Basically what we did, we add to that edge an extra edge, okay, and we basically split that edge into two edges. But how many segments? One, which means two, because we already have one edge. If you will put two and click apply here, or not apply, do not click apply, put two and click enter. See, it has two segments here. Let's go ahead and press 1 and enter, and it's a little bit better. If you will chamfer amount and put 2 in here, you will see that we have 3 edges now instead of 2. And but let's go ahead and keep it at the 2. Click enter. I mean at 1, because 1 is 2, 2 is 3. See, and 3 is going to be 4, which is total disaster because we need to adjust the segments. The segments basically is the distance. Okay, let's keep it 1. Actually, let's do 2. Okay, and let's on our segments, let's keep it actually 1. Okay, we have 2 edges right here. And now we are becoming to see some reflection and light approaching, making shiny areas here. Alright, and folks, for those who's advanced, I'm sorry that I'm explaining in a long way, because this tutorial is designed for completely beginner, so they will learn, they will jump themselves in the 3D world. And click OK here. And as you can see, we just created an extra geometry. You just learned how to create an extra geometry, and now with the shiny parts, let's go ahead and put it like so, and go ahead and click rendering and click render. See, it's becoming more like metal lookish. Okay, it has some shiny parts, some dark shade parts, some gradient, like a metal kind of type. Let's go ahead and maybe using our orbit tool, click on orbit tool, and in our perspective view, make sure it's yellow selected. Maybe rotate a little bit and then zoom in, zoom out with our zoom tool or third mouse button, and put it like so. And as again, I'm trying not to use a lot of short keys. Okay, so we just click rendering and render, and here we go. You can see some shiny parts, some gradient, dark shades and lighter shades in our metal, looking more like a metal. But as again, if we're going to go ahead and press M button to material, when you're working with the arc and design materials, as you can see by pressing on it, there's different type of materials, and this type of materials liking to have some details on the object as well, and different corners, different rounding shapes of those corners, also some other objects around it, and some atmosphere, like different objects, like in your room when you see the metal, it surrounding by the sky, surrounding by some other objects, surrounding by you're holding the camera when you're taking a picture of that element. And that metal has that physical ability to reflect and refract and the light, the atmosphere around it, and this is what brings that metal look like a metal, because it's reflecting, and this is the properties of the metal. Over here we don't have it. We have only a black room with nothing on it, just a simple black color and the star. So you can create multiple stars around the star, and it will bring the ability to reflect those multiple stars, and it will bring more shiny parts, reflection, and create more like a metal. Also, you can create some extra geometry on this model star, some extended geometry, and it will create that reflection abilities of every single size of the star in much better render abilities than it was before. Let me go ahead and explain you what I meant. We want to add some details basically over here. So how to do so? Let's go ahead and switch to a polygon mode right here, and let's select this first polygon right here on top. Make sure you select object, not a move object, so accidentally you're not going to move this polygon, because folks, if you will be at the move and select tool, and right here you can move this polygon and basically modify the geometry. Let me go ahead and click render and show you how it's going to look like. And it's looking crazy now. It's kind of shifted, and if you don't want to have it and you accidentally move that, and now you just find out, it's going to be pretty bad to fix it. So let's go ahead and use this icon right here to undo, or if you older versions of the 2ds Max, which is 8.7, you want to click undo move, and right here you want to use this select object tool, so you only can select but cannot move. Okay, which is great. Click somewhere in the 3D space and select, click on 3D object, make sure it's under the polygon mode. You can select the polygons. Okay, make sure you selected one. Let's go ahead and rotate using the orbit tool right here, and see that everything is unselected and only that red polygon is selected. Let me show you how to select multiple polygons. Let's say I want to select this top polygon just in case, and I want to select the sided polygon. So you can hold your left mouse button, click and hold it and scroll it, and now we selected those two as well, and see, they're red right now. Let's say we want to deselect this, we don't want to have it, and we also selected the button polygon as well. Why? Because we just hold it and move it, and it's going to select any faces or polygons that it can see, that you can see, or that invisible, it will select it as well. If you don't want to select the invisible, ignore back facing, the faces that on the back that you don't see, not going to be selected, but this icon needs to be selected like so. Okay, but let me show you how to deselect the polygons that we don't want. We don't want to work with this button part of the store, so by pressing Alt button on your keyboard and then left mouse button, make sure you're in polygon mode, click on a polygon that you don't want and you want to unselect, click on it once and you're going to unselect it. Now let's basically unselect them all, and I'll click holding the Alt button and select what you want to deselect, and as you can see by my mouse cursor, it's also minus. You're going to deselect it. Okay, now let's go ahead and select the polygons with ignore back facing. Just want to show you what it does. Check marked. Now left mouse button, hold and scroll, select it, right? Now the back face of the star or back polygon of the star is not going to be selected because ignore back facing is check marked. Okay, let's have it all the time, and let's go ahead and unselect it again, all the polygons, and clicking Alt button and do stuff like this. It will unselect, or you can click somewhere in 3D space. As you can see right here, some polygons selected in the red. See that? 3D space somewhere, and it's going to unselect it automatically. Okay, let's select the top polygon right here. Now we wanted to modify some geometry of this star to be able to have it something like this. How to have to make it done? Pretty simple. You want to go ahead and click Inset. Click on that. As you can see, it's kind of inset the polygon. So basically, inside of that polygon, and make an extra one. Okay, inside of that polygon, and you can control by how much. Let's put 5, and I'm going to demonstrate you. See, and by the way, that polygon that we inserted inside of that polygon, it's going to be selected, and the other one is not selected, which is easier to work with then. Let's go ahead and do 10. Make it small. You can do 100, 50. Too much. You can see it deformed. It means that it just went over. So over the value maximum can be applied and went to the minus. It doesn't show you that it's minus, but it is. As you can see, our shape of the polygon is different. Let's go ahead and click 30 small, right? Nice. And click OK. You can also make it smaller than it is right now. How to do so? We're working with the top. So on the top, right mouse click on the top view. It's selected. Top view mode is selected. Go ahead and click on the select and uniform scale tool. You're going to focus today learn the new tool. Click on it, make sure it's selected, and now click on this yellow triangle, and you can basically scale it bigger or smaller to the size that you want it. Okay, and if you will use this triangle right here, this part of triangle, you can only modify it by the top, but the small triangle right here, yellow triangle, modifying on all the directions X, Y, Z, and this one modify only in the direction of the view, which is I believe going to be Z in our, you can see in our perspective view, it's in Z. It's only going to modify in Z. Okay, let's go ahead and scale it like so, make it so small, like almost impossible to see. Okay, the next thing what we want to do, we want to go ahead and select the move and select tool. Click on that, and with the right mouse button, click on front view. Make sure it's selected, this polygon is selected. If accidentally you deselect it, just click somewhere, just go ahead and zoom in the top view again, and make sure as again you're not at select and move tool. Click on select the object and select this polygon, and then go to select and move tool, and here click right mouse button front view, this viewport, front viewport, and then left mouse third mouse button, zoom in, zoom out, or using this tool right here, zoom in, zoom out. Holding your left mouse button when this tool is selected, you can zoom in, zoom out. Then unselect this tool by pressing on it again, or right button. Actually, it's not going to work like this. Right button, it's going to be unselected. When it's not selected, you can use our move and select tool. Make sure it's selected now, and let's go ahead and move it by Y to the top, and you can see on our perspective view the way it can get to the level the way you want it. Let's put it about that level, it's fine. Then let's go ahead and right click button of your mouse button, right mouse button, click on the perspective view, and using the orbit tool, let's go ahead and basically see what we have. See, we work with the top polygon, the bottom polygon is unchanged, and let's go ahead and put at the angle and render it and see what we have. Rendering, render. See, now it's getting better to the metal, reflection, light reflection, then better shapes, shades, and etc. Darker areas, more reflection. It's getting better now, but it's kind of dark. Here's what you can do, folks. You can change the background color, and how to do so? Go to rendering and environment, and over here background. You can click color and select different colors that you like. Let's go ahead and click white, click OK. Background color white, close this, and now let's go ahead and click rendering. Now you can see sharp star better because it's reflecting out of that white background, which bring more light because it's reflecting that white. When you're going to have the final render of this star, I suggest you to render into multiple background colors and then open the Photoshop and basically put those layers together and kind of merge those layers and see what you can achieve maybe between and have that nice beautiful golden color. But more about it is going to be in the end of this tutorial, when I'm going to show you in the Photoshop. It's going to be some extra material for those who is looking to get more information how to combine the Photoshop and 3ds Max Studio as a beginner level and put it further. But for those who is looking just how to model the the star in 3ds Max Studio, maybe you can skip it. But if you're a beginner, I suggest you to watch all of it. And if you're going to get best information, get the knowledge, if you're willing to use this knowledge in the future, I suggest you to watch all my tutorials from start till the end. Okay, here we go. And let's go ahead and put it back to black yet for now. Environment, and as again, background color, select black, and let's render it again. It's going to be dark. Let's go ahead and adjust the areas that we want to highlight it in our star, because I like how the metal look like on a black background, because when some dark areas, gray areas selected by the metal has the physical properties to reflect better. And I like this metal better. And let's go ahead and highlight some items that we want to get highlighted in our store. So basically right now we're done geometry of the store, we're done working with the geometry. Let's go ahead and click here, double click mouse button on editable poly, single click. So single click here will unselect polygons, and now we can work with our model instead of polygons. Or if you want to get it back, select polygons, or select vertices if you want to work with the dark dots, vertices dots, or vertex single dot. You can see that come in blue. But if you want to get unselected, you want to go ahead and click editable poly once, and it will unselect it, or somewhere on the screen. Okay, and then click back to our object, and it will get selected. All right, we shape up our model. We happy with that now. Now we're going to work with the lighting and texturing, more with the lighting now, because we're done with the textures. It was easy one-on-one texturing. You learn how to bring the metal. You can go ahead and select the different profiles and play with the values, but it's going to be texturing one-on-one and 3ds Max. It's going to be different tutorials for the beginners. Don't miss it. It's coming soon to Morose Academy channel or moroseacademy.com by Alex Morose Video Tutorials. As again, my name is Alex Morose and I'm your video tutor today. And sorry about my squeezing voice, because I lost my voice 2 days ago and I'm getting back. My voice is getting back, so I'm apologizing for that. Alright folks, and now we have one light, and let's go ahead and bring another light to the scene. And how to do so? As again, you click on create into lights, and MR area omni, which is mental ray area omni light, because we're working with mental ray render that we set in the beginning of this video. Click somewhere here in our front view, bring another light to the scene. Now two lights at the scene, brighter scene, two different lights on the scene, and metal is reflecting differently too, the physical ability of the metal, because different lights and different directions. Let's go ahead and click rendering. As again, I'm not using the short keys because this tutorial is designed totally for the beginners. Render. Now you can see we're getting better, more details highlighted, but this area is too much. So what we're gonna do, this light is selected, make sure you went to modify, otherwise you're gonna create another light, and under modify select MR area omni, mental ray area omni, and over here let's click on 1. Okay, multiplier 1 multiply by 1, so it's not that much light. In our top view, let's zoom out using the zoom tool. See exactly where the light is located. Right mouse button, disable the zoom tool. See, it's highlighted now, and this is the light that we're working with. Let's go ahead and put this light to the center of the star. Let's see. Click render and make sure perspective view is selected. Right button, click on it, and rendering, render. Okay, now we got better balance of the light, but let's go ahead and move the light more here, so less light will be approached here, and this area is not going to be that bright. Let's go ahead and do so by moving over here. Again, get back to perspective view. I was in the top view, now perspective view, rendering. Okay, it's better now. We're getting there. See, folks? Okay, you can create multiple lights, you can create more lights, MR area omni, and you can highlight some pieces. And let's click on top view, creating third light, and go to modify panel. Okay, so now we can modify. Let's over here 0.5 on modifier, so not too much on the lighting, and let's move this light like here, move it here, highlight this area because this area was a little bit too dark, as you remember. Let's highlight it more and bring it closer to the star, so it's gonna bring that shiny to that metal going to reflect that shiny light. Let's go ahead and I just pressed F9, which is same as render, or you can press Shift Q. See, I'm bringing that shiny stuff, but light is too close and it's not cool. It doesn't look too good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my light higher from the star, away from the star, and again perspective view selected, rendering, render. Better now. So we're about to get the star the way it should be. So I think there's nothing could be done more. I think we are there. All what we can do, we can highlight some over here, bring more light, and over here some areas on our star, those edges. But the problem is in our geometry, those edges, the problem is we're going to render in with the black background and white background, and white background will bring every single detail on our star and it's going to be brighter. Then we're going to go back to Photoshop and we're going to basically merge two layers and get the medium, happy medium, where the metal will look like a metal. So you got an idea, right, folks? So what we're gonna do next, let's go ahead and position our star in the middle. Let's zoom in and let's click render setup, and let's select what kind of resolution we want to render for, because we're about to render it, and I'm going to put it for my YouTube profile, I mean eBay profile image. You can do it for anything else, not even the store. You can basically learn how to modify the geometry, how to get the idea even the eBay profiles, but you can sell this as a stock images at the multiple angles and etc. You can basically, let me show you, you can render multiple angles and sell it as a stock image, and somebody will buy it. Maybe like this image, like this, and rendering, let me show you, find that, adjust the light, make it so beautiful, so nice, or maybe some, you know, some crazy angles the way you want it, and maybe modify the geometry even more the way you want it, and maybe make it silver instead of select different material, different color. But we're not going to talk about it now. Let's go ahead and put our store like this. So we're gonna see some geometry, but not to the top view, but a little bit angled one to the center. Then click rendering, render setup, and select the resolution. I suggest you to render in the highest resolution as possible. So select the custom, maybe go to full aperture, and maybe 2000 by 1856, which is going to be more than plenty for the eBay profile. It's going to capture every single detail. You can go 4000 by 3000. It's going to be plenty for the poster printout actually. Okay, and let's go ahead and click render, and let's have a look how it's going to look like. I'm having today i7 2600K with the 8 threads for a quad-core processor, which is overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz, and it's quick, very quick, 32 gigabyte of RAM. If your computer is slower, it's probably going to take some time to render it, and it maybe will be slower or faster. As you can see, this side is a little bit bigger than this side, so maybe we can adjust the angle. It's kind of in the center, it's nice. Let's go ahead and click on the orbit tool and adjust the angle, maybe bring it like a little bit like so. So it's going to be positioned better, and render, and on your computer it can be slower. It depends what kind of computer you're using, or even faster. Alright, about like so. Alright, this is this beautiful star. Let's zoom out a little bit, so we're gonna capture this corner right here, and we're set to go. So zoom out like about so, and rendering. You can work, make it so precise, it's up to you. And here we go, it's kinda in the center. For those who's interested how you can move on a perspective view or any other view, it's pretty simple. Using this pen view tool, this kind of hand icon, click on it, and you can move on a scene. Okay, I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not. With this icon you can move the camera, and not the object but the camera. This is moving the camera. Okay, and you can position and be so precise where you want to have it. You can also click render here button, make sure you're at the viewport that you want to render, which is perspective, selected into yellow border. Okay, it's fine. Maybe move it a little bit, camera move a little bit like this to the top. Render again is same thing as rendering, render. Okay, yeah, we set to go, it's fine, and let's go ahead and save it. The resolution is high, the quality is going to be superior for any printing, and let's go ahead and click save button, and as you can see already was working, but we're going to save the new file. I suggest you to save as PNG. Go ahead and select the PNG, and let's name it as store, maybe with black background. Just you're going to know, and we're going to work with the post production, and we're going to know exactly what it is. Okay, as you can see over here, setup. If it's PNG selected, you can click alpha channel, and alpha channel will be the first pixel from the left, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And basically what it does, if it's black, the first pixel from the left, that little pixel, if it's black, it will become to alpha channel, and alpha channel means basically transparency. So basically it will cut the black background for us automatically. in the Photoshop. So as again folks, if you're watching how to create the star in 3ds Max Studio, this is done. We're done here. You can save it, the render, save the file, you're done, ready to go. But this is some extra tutorial for those who's looking to make it further and create as part of their design and combine 3ds Max Studio and Photoshop. This is some extra I decided to throw to you and explain as again for the beginners how to combine those stuff together. Okay, star with black background, basically it's going to be black background but it's going to be transparent, but we know it's a black background as a render. Click save button, it will save it. Okay, the next thing what we want to do, we want to go ahead and click rendering, go to environment and color background. Here we want to select white. Do not select completely white, let's select kind of grayish. Click OK and close this and click render here, or if it's closed, click render again and let's render again. Make sure our view is selected and we did not move the camera or the object on our view. Alright, it's going to bring some different colors, different shades and etc. Nice. Let's go ahead and click save button again and select here as PNG again. Why PNG? Because basically it doesn't have no noise. If you will select as JPEG, it will bring just a little bit of noise, but if you will select as PNG, it doesn't have no noise, plus it can have the transparency as an alpha channel, which is we don't have to select in Photoshop, and the background we don't have to cut out. It will cut out for us automatically. I will show you in a minute what I meant. And let's start with black background, and instead of black background, let's select white background or whatever you want to name it. I'm an old schooler using the dashes, and here go to setup, 48-bit, which is fine, so many colors. Click OK and click save. Here we go, we save the store. Here we go. After this point, I suggest you to save the file. Also, I suggest you to save the file every time you make new changes. You can save it to the multiple files because 3ds Max Studio on a slower computer crashing a lot, and just because it's going to run out of memory and etc. So I suggest you to save it a lot and save it constantly. You can name it as different files, save it the way you want to know, where you add the progress and etc. Let's say store the base, store with the extruded corners, store with extruded corners and textured, which is with materials and etc. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and name it and star final because it's final. Click save, 3ds Max, which is Max. Save it. Okay, it's saved, it's done. Now what we're gonna do, we're going to jump into Photoshop. Okay, and let's go ahead and close this and go file, open, and we want to open our files, two files of the PNG files, images that we rendered in high quality. We want to go to the folder. I'm already in a folder, as you can see, and go ahead and select them. It's going to be star with the black background and star with the white background. Go ahead and select one of them, bring one of them, and click open. It will go ahead and open it. It will take some time because I believe I'm running the Photoshop and from the external drive, and it taking some time because the external drive went to the safe mode, which is sleeping mode, so it just wake up. So it took that things to wake it up. But keep in mind, also this tutorial is recorded in real time for you folks, and I'm using those applications. And by the way, I'm using today Morose video capture software that was developed by me to capture the video tutorials. It's easy to use, it's inexpensive, it's cheap, and it's beautiful software that was developed by me. Every single tutorial was captured by me with Morose video capture, and it's nice software. And for more put in the video description. And this is the software that I developed, and right now it's in current beta mode, but very soon it will be available for sale for those who would like to record their own video tutorials. Also, Morose Video Capture can capture the games and etc. So just let you know, it's a nice software, can capture everything what you see on your screen. Alright, let's get back to business, and we open the store with a white background, which is our brightest one. Let's go ahead and click File, Open, and open the store in the black background, which is darker. Click Open. It will create two different windows here. Okay, let's go ahead and click Select over here on this black star. Select, it's going to select all, and then click Edit and Copy Merge. Okay, go back to this window right here and click Edit and Paste. It will paste the star. As you can see, our background with this kind of chess background, which means it's transparency in Photoshop. Okay, using the right here move tool right here, this icon right here, and go ahead and adjust it to make sure we covered and perfectly in the center, perfectly with this star. Okay, when it's matching, okay, it's nice. You can go ahead and select between the layers. Alright, it's matching. The next thing, what I told you, we're going to use some layers. I'm not going to talk a lot about Photoshop in this video tutorial, folks, for you, because this is not the Photoshop tutorial. Okay, but I'm going to give you some tips, and this is the tips. If you're looking to learn the Photoshop, I will have multiple Photoshop tutorials for the beginners if you prefer and like my teaching style. It's going to be step by step, and just go ahead and visit the Morose Academy channel, YouTube channel, or moroseacademy.com, and I will put in video description in this video, and it will be more video tutorials for sure. Alright, click on the top layer right here, layer 1 and layer 0. Click on layer 0 first, and let's name it. Let's name it bright and dark. Click on layer 1, just double click on it with your left mouse button, and you can name the layers. I always suggest you, when you're working with Photoshop, keep it as a habit to name your layers. You will look professional, and it's going to be easier to work with anybody else if you're working in a team, or even for you when you're going to open this file and you have like 1,000 layers in the future, because you're going to forget about these layers if you will work with some design today and some design tomorrow, and you open the previous design in a week. It's getting to get confusing when you're going to have layer 1, layer 2, layer 10, layer 100, you know. But when you're going to name them, it's going to be easier. Okay, keep this as a habit, folks. Okay, darker, bright, dark and brighter maybe. Double click on it and make sure you're on the text. Double click, otherwise it's going to bring that menu. Brighter, and you can close the menu by pressing X, close button. Okay, darker, brighter. Okay, go on a darker on the top layer. Everything what you see on the screen, it's top layer. Everything what is we don't see right now, it's on the bottom layer. So top layer, darker. Let's go ahead and adjust the opacity. Opacity is basically transparency. You can see we're getting better now, and we can make completely transparent. We'll show the brighter layer, or we can put like in a 50 or maybe 70 and get some detail, 71, and nice metal looking star, 75 to get some shades, maybe it's 80. Okay, nice. We have bright, all the available elements of the lighting that we want and shadings. Okay, here we go. We are done. You can save it and call it done. And let me you can basically create small stars in Photoshop and place them, or even create the small stars in 3ds Max. Let me show you how to do so in 3ds Max real quick. star, make sure the star is selected. There is no icons right here selected, no polygons, no vertices, so you can work with the objects. And we're going to copy this object. I'm going to teach you one more feature in 3ds Max, how to copy the object. You're going to hold shift button, and using the move tool, by any axis you can move, and by holding shift button and left mouse button and move it by the axis, it will copy the object. You can copy instance, reference, and copy. There is a big topic about it. I'm not going to discuss about it, but keep it as a copy. Name it as a small star, maybe small star. Like you saw my avatar, my profile image has little stars around it. Small star, and then you can use this select and uniform scale tool, and on our top view make sure it's selected and in yellow, the big triangle. You can use this one, which will basically, you can see, adjust in the top view. But if you will go back and use the small one triangle, it's going to basically zoom out the whole star. See that? And the left view in every single direction, X, Y, Z. Zoom out the shape of that model or object. Basically make it smaller, not zoom out, make it smaller in geometry. But if you will select this one, the bigger triangle yellow, see, like this, and hold your mouse button and move, it's just in one direction by one axis. You got an idea, right, folks? So by the smaller one, we would like to hold geometry to zoom, scale it down, not zoom out, but scale it down, and then release mouse button. And right here, make sure when you're scaling down object, you're not holding the shift. Shift will be done when you're going to release the shift, you're copying the object. Okay, and you can put the star right here. You can create multiple stars. Again, holding the shift button now and move by Y axis, holding the left mouse button and then move your mouse. And release shift and left mouse button is again copy. Star 1 is fine. Copy. And again put it right here. Some of you folks probably saying, oh dude, you can do this in Photoshop. Of course you can. But I will explain to you what's the difference in Photoshop to create this in Photoshop or create this in 3ds Max. It's going to be easier to create this in 3ds Max, and I will show you in a second why. Let's go ahead and copy all the stars using the same method. And real quick, I'm just going to copy and place them. As again, holding shift, make sure object is selected, and holding shift button on your keyboard, left mouse button, hold it and then move your mouse, and release shift and left mouse button, and clone object option will appear. You can click copy and click OK, and you clone it. You can zoom in using the zoom tool now. Everything is released, shift and left mouse button, and put it the way you want it. Using the zoom tool and zoom out, and then right mouse button, disable the zoom tool, and then using the select move tool and move it the way you want it. Okay, let's go ahead and render this. As a rendering and click render. Okay, let me tell you why I'm doing this in 3ds Max instead of Photoshop. The answer is simple, and you can see how the lighting and shadings, every single star having its dynamic different lighting and shaders. This is why if I'm going to copy this big star and make it smaller in Photoshop, I can do this, but the lighting and shadings will be the same, and here it's different, dynamic. So instead of creating this in Photoshop, yeah, you can do this in Photoshop as well, but like mirror it and by horizontal, by vertical, rotate it, but it's going to take some time. You can do it in Photoshop, in 3ds Max. It's easier. Okay, especially if you're looking to create multiple angles. Let's say not for the avatar, for the profile photo, but let's say if you want to, let's go ahead and save it. Click save button right here, or you can go ahead and open it and click save over here. Let's go ahead and you creating this for photo stock, to say sell it as a photo stock, and maybe you want to render it Easier now to render multiple images instead of to recreating those images in Photoshop over and over and over again. So you got an idea, right, folks? This is one tip for you. This is why I like to use a lot 3ds Max Studio for my projects and graphic creations. It's easy, it's photorealistic, and it's nice, and after you will understand it by following this tutorial and watching my other tutorials, you will love it. Okay, and also I can readjust the light real quick from those stars and render another image, when in Photoshop it's going to be harder. You can do it in Photoshop too. Let me go ahead and introduce you how to do it. Click select all, and so we can copy this, edit, copy, merged. So we're gonna copy, merge two layers into one image, then edit, paste. You can see we have the another layer. Let's click on layer 1 and make it small star layer, and now 2 stars, right? And make sure your auto select option is checked and show transform controls is checked, otherwise it's not going to show you those binding controls. And by putting your mouse in the corner of those binding controls, holding the shift button, so you're going to scale it down by vertically and by horizontally in proportion scale down. You can scale this star, yes, you can do so, and the way you want it, and then click over here or click accept button right here, and then place it. Make sure your select the move tools is selected, place it the way you want it, and place it like so, multiple, and create another duplicate layer. Right click on this layer and click duplicate layer, and name it small star, not start, star 2, and put it here, and etc. You can do it, you know, make sure if it doesn't fit, you can, this is for the beginners, you can go image, canvas size, and you can increase your canvas size percent by maybe 30%, width and height by 30 and 130, which is actually, I don't understand the for the Adobe company, because the percentage could be only 100% maximum. Only for people who is from America think it could be 400%, 1000%, but it's not. In arithmetic, it's only 100% maximum. But anyways, you can increase the size of your canvas, and you can work and you can apply them, but you can see they all at the same lighting. Oh yes, you can go and do the transform, and maybe go flip horizontally, change the light, but as again, it's not going to be that real light that coming exactly at the same direction, the way it should be and calculated than it was in 3ds Max. And for beginner in Photoshop, it's a little bit advanced, and I'm not going to talk about it right now, but you got an idea, right, folks? So here we go. It's pretty simple, and let me just go ahead and I'm not going to re-render it, but you can do it in 3ds Max. You can render this in black and white, and then put it in Photoshop, and then just put the text. I'm just going to real quick to do to show you how to. This is going to be 3, and we're about to be done. Star 3, and put it here. I'm not even going to adjust too much, and let's put this one a little bit over here. Not going to adjust the lighting and everything. I'm just, you got an idea. I show you two different methods. Otherwise, in 3ds Max Studio, you can basically bring that type of rendering as, again, white and black background in Photoshop, and be done perfectly calculating, start shading, analyzing the way light approach, and finish the whole deal here, the whole idea. I'm just going to finish it in Photoshop real quick. Basically, I'm just copying the new layers right here, right click, duplicate, and get the idea done right here. Okay, and click on text tool, like here, text item, click somewhere in here, and I can type, let's say tech dealer 82, which was my eBay profile. I suggest you go ahead and visit it, folks. If you're a gamer, I'm selling great games, new games at 50% off for the Steam and Origin, and it's never been used, it's money saving, and etc. Okay, name it like so, and click right here to put background to foreground on this icon, or click on this icon right here and select your own color. Okay, then select on this tool right here, move tool, so it's unselected. You can move as again with move tool your text. It's kind of same color, so what you can do by pressing that FX icon here, click on stroke, bring the stroke around it, and maybe set to 7, and here we go. You can see it, and here's our profile image, beautiful, ready to go. If you want to cut it out to the profile image, select the select tool and hold your mouse button, move it, and select it the way you think it will be fine, like so. Right, there is the other option how to do so, I will introduce you in a second, like so, and then go to image, crop. Here we go, it's done. You can put the background if you wanna by click over here and this list icon, create new layer and name it background. Okay, background layer, everything was capital. Let's keep everything with capital. Put it right here before the brighter, and it's transparent as you can see because it has that chess background. Click on this icon right here. This is for beginners, some extra, who's looking also to learn the Photoshop from me. But as again, if you want to learn a lot of Photoshop by me, by Alex Morose, from me as a tutor by Alex Morose, go ahead and visit Morose Academy. Click on this bracket, moroseacademy.com or Morose Academy YouTube channel. Click on this bracket and click on this icon right here and change color maybe to black if you want, to black for YouTube, so it's going to be nice and visible. Okay, and zoom in, zoom out. It's going to be about this size. Okay, go to image, and under the image, go image size. I believe they're using 115 pixels, and it's 115/105. Click OK. Let's zoom in. So this is zoom out. This is the 100%. Nice, visible, nice for the profile image. This is how they looking for. It's go image size. As you can see, 115/105. They're looking 115/115 squared one. Easy to do. How to do so? Let me show you and explain to you. Pretty simple. All what you need to do, just go to image, and under the canvas size, you wanna go ahead and go pixels, and here you wanna type 115 instead of 105. Click OK. It's going to extend over here by height. Next, what you wanna do, just go ahead and click paint bucket tool. Make sure it's black, and those transparent pixels, just you can place them. If it doesn't work, what you do, make sure you're at the background layer. Go ahead, click select all. It will select all. Go ahead, click delete button on your keyboard, like so. And now go ahead and click paint bucket, the deserved color. Click on it. That's it. 150/150, ready for the eBay profile image or whatever profile image, as well as you learned today how to create in 3ds Max, create a beautiful star. Okay, then in 3ds Max Studio, then you learn how to turn this star into Photoshop, export it into Photoshop, to retouch it to bring better details, and then you learned how to basically get your idea going. Basically modeling in 3ds Max using the splines, and then converting to the edit poly, and then working with the edit poly, and more on the edit poly subject when you're going to work with the polygons, vertices, edges. Go ahead and check my other YouTube video, which is going to be modeling computer fan in 3ds Max. It's a great video tutorial by me over the Morose Academy. Check it out. And let me go ahead and give you some extra real quick. Let's go ahead and undo, edit, step backward, edit, step backward, edit, step backward, edit, step backward, or using the Alt Control Z short keys. I'm not gonna do that because I love to have nice video tutorials for the beginners. Completely makes sense, every single step, nobody gonna get lost. Okay, you can see right here, right? By the way, let me put down the website where you can watch this tutorial from, moroseacademy.com, moroseacademy.com. This is going to be the website where you can learn more. This guy right here, moroseacademy.com, or let's go ahead and 72, let's 200, make maybe 150, bigger font, click enter, 150 points. Okay, click right here, enter, and or over the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/moroseacademy, and go ahead, select this and maybe make it 72. Okay, this is where you can find this, folks, the complete tutorial and other tutorials from me. But let me go ahead and give you some extra. Let's go ahead and disable this by clicking on this eye icon. You can disable the layer, and let's disable all the layers of those star layers. So you learned today a lot about Photoshop if you're a beginner, or even if you're not beginner, if you beginner, you can learn some advanced stuff. You're learning the good stuff. And right here, let's go ahead and select the darker layer right here, click select all, click edit and copy merge. So copy merge basically going to, actually let's disable the background layer. Is again select all, edit, copy merge. So what it does, it copying everything what we see on the screen right now on our canvas. And let's go ahead and edit, paste. Okay, we bring another star to the top right here, and let's name it final star, because this final star including those two layers, darker and brighter layer. Let's go ahead and click enter, so name it. Let's disable them by clicking on this eye. If you will disable those layers, they're not going to be visible, less memory will be usable. And if you're using this, for me, I don't care, but if you're using this kind of not quickest computer right now that you can get, as I do, it's even faster than quickest computer because it's overclocked. More tutorials how to overclock your computer, how to push it beyond its limit, also will be available over the Morose Academy. But anyways, you want to disable your layers by clicking on this icon, so they're not going to be renderable and you're not going to see them. Okay, final star, and now let's go ahead and right click on it and duplicate layer again, and name this, click on a name on the text of the layer, otherwise it's that menu will appear. That menu, by the way, you can bring by pressing on this FX and blending options. The same menu appears. This is where we click, we use the stroke option, remember? Okay, and this one we're going to name final star with noise, metal noise. I'm going to show you a little quick, another extra. So thumbs up, folks. A lot of information for you, just a lot of freebies, a lot of stuff to learn. And click enter. So we name it final star metal noise. Why? Because we're going, I'm going to teach you how to bring noise to the star. So it's going to be even, we're going to bring to another level, which will be like a metal. Okay. star, and actually no, let's delete this layer, final star noise. Let's delete this, and let's enable the final star, and let's create the new layer. Click on this list right here, icon list, it says new layer, and name it noise, metal noise. Okay, it's empty layer on top of our final star. Okay, make sure it's selected, metal noise layer is selected, and let's go ahead and go click on the filter, render. This method is available. Every single method that's used today in Photoshop is available since Photoshop 5.0 back in 2002. So keep that in mind. Then it's going to be same method will be applied and usable in Photoshop 6, Photoshop 7, Photoshop 8, Photoshop or CS, Photoshop CS2, Photoshop CS3, Photoshop CS4, Photoshop CS5, and Photoshop CS6, and hopefully in the next versions of the Photoshops, which probably will be on the cloud Photoshops. But I just explained to you, this method is covered in all Photoshops since 2002, which is Photoshop 5.0, 5.5, not even Photoshop CS 5.5. It's back in 2002, year of 2002. And just because I like to make my tutorials universal, this is why I'm using this, so it's going to be universal for you folks. Okay, make sure the metal noise is selected. Back to the tutorial, click filter, render, and I'm going to teach you how to create noise for the metal, so it's going to be more realistic. And let's go ahead and click on the different clouds, and it says that it cannot be applied to the empty pixels, transparent pixels. Let's go ahead and click bucket tool, and let's click on black color and fill it. Fill our metal noise layer with the black background. Make sure the final star is unfilled on the bottom of that layer. Filter, render, different clouds. So we learned what happened when the layer is transparent. Now you need to fill it right here. It's bringing stuff like this. The next thing what we want to do, we want to go filter, and we want to go ahead and noise, add noise, dust, scratches right here. Noise, dust, scratches. Okay, so basically what it does, it will remove dust and scratches, which we don't want to click. Let's go ahead and click filter, as again I was right at the first time. Noise, add noise. Click on here, and you can see click monochronic, so it's not going to be different color noise, it's just going to be one color, and just go ahead and put some noise. About, I would say about 77, 70, 75. Okay, uniform is let's gauching using this kind of, click OK. Let's go ahead and now put this metal noise layer overlay over the final star. Go ahead and click normal and scroll down to dissolve and all the way to overlay. Okay, we overlaid it like so. See that? And we can see the noise on the star. That's beautiful. But it's not beautiful yet. And you can also opacity. You can apply the opacity and control the way the noise will be applied to a star. Not too much, but about like so. And you can keep it like that, like that. It's look like a metal. People will buy it. Okay, it's nice. But let's bring all the way opacity to 100. Let's make it better. Let's make it like a scratch metal. Let's go to filter and blur, and under the blur, motion blur. So we're gonna create motion blur and degree about 32 degrees. Let's select that. Maybe 45. Let's select that. Okay, see how it's look like it scratches. Nice. Now let's go ahead and select filter and sharpen. You can create the multiple layers. Metal noise, so you got the noise. Before the sharpen noise, you can create duplicate layer. Click OK, and instead of metal noise, let's call it metal noise final. Click OK, and now disable this on the bottom. Work with the final. Make sure the final is selected. Disable so it's not render the bottom one. Disable and just click enable disable on this eye right here by the layer with left mouse button. Okay, metal noise final. We want to make it sharper because metal has those scratches sharp. It's a metal sharpen, and let's go ahead and click sharpen edges. Not much. Let's go ahead and click edit, filter, sharpen, and click sharpen. And do it again, filter, sharpen, and more sharpen, maybe like this. Nice. Now let's go ahead and bring opacity to maybe like 50. Here we go. Here's our metal, folks. You got the sharpen edges, and maybe let's bring it to 34 so you can see those things in there. Here we go. And but we got the noise all the way around, even if it doesn't visible too much, but it is. So how to get rid of it? Pretty simple. Click on our final star layer, make sure it's selected. Go ahead and click on this tool, magic tool. Click somewhere on the transparent pixels, and now it's going to be selected. Okay, the transparent pixels will be selected, and go back to metal noise final layer, click on that, make sure it's selected, and click delete button. Now it get rid of that. And what you can do now, click right here, back on the selection tool, click somewhere, and it will disable it. Go back to move tool, and now if you will even bring the opacity to the way that you like, everything else doesn't have the noise, that transparent background. So you just learned some extras. And thank you so much, folks, for watching. As again, my name is Alex Maros. I was your tutoring during this video tutorial. This tutorial was recorded with Maros Video Capture software. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And please thumbs up if you're watching this over the YouTube, so more people can see this and can learn from this, can apply this methods, techniques, ideas, theories, and practices into their own ideas. Today you learned the Autodesk 3ds Max Studio and Design software, and how to use basics modeling, using from splines to polys, and using the polygons modeling, modifying object geometry. Then how to texturing, which is bring the materials to the models, bring the light. And also you learn how to combine the Photoshop with 3ds Max, how to finish up in post-production in Photoshop, and you learn some extras. And this video tutorial was designed for total beginner. Thank you so much for watching. Please thumbs up. If you're looking to watch more tutorials, please also subscribe to my channels, and I will see you at Maros Academy. Thank you so much, and stay tuned. Bye bye now.